Do you find it hard sometimes to completely trust God, to prune you, to shape you, to mold you into His will? Today is Mother's Day, and if you are appreciating a mother of some kind today, it's also important for us to also appreciate some of the mothering characteristics God reveals to us in His Word. There's this beautiful painting called The Prodigal Son that embodies the full characteristics of God so well in the way the painter drew the hands of this father embracing his son who just returned home. One hand is painted more masculine, more protective, and the other slender, softer, more nurturing. And this just gives us the full picture of who God is. There's so many places in Scripture that God speaks to us as a father. But when Scripture describes His character to us, there's also a lot of characteristics in God that we will associate more with mothers. That's also so special and that we need in our lives so desperately. When Moses leaves his people, God's people, in the desert to go up the mountain to meet God, they get impatient and they build themselves a golden calf to worship instead of God. God is angry, Moses gets angry, but he intercedes for his people. And God responds in a moment, revealing His character to Moses. Listen how God explains to Moses who He is in Exodus 34, verse 6 to 7. Yahweh, Yahweh, compassionate and gracious, slow to anger, overflowing with loyal love and faithfulness. This is God's words about Himself to Moses. And it's significant that the first word God chose to reveal Himself with is compassionate. That's a deep emotional word. Sometimes we don't like God, we don't like it when people explain God as an emotional being, because sometimes we think emotional people, we can't be trusted or is difficult to rely on. But God is consistent in the way that He relates to us emotionally. We can trust Him and rely on Him. When He explains Himself as a compassionate God, it means deeply moved. Deeply moved, deeply concerned, deeply and intimately involved in the detail of our lives. Like a mother would instinctively respond to the needs of her child, God is moved into action. Compassion is not just an emotion. It moves someone into action towards the good of someone else. And the same way God is moved into action to respond to our needs in a way that will be better for us, in a way that will help us flourish. And Jesus also explains how we stand in relationship to Him and to His Father in this beautiful picture of a vine and in a garden, and the Father being the gardener or the farmer, lovingly tending to this garden, pruning it so it can flourish, so the best can come from it. And that is God's heart. When it comes to His children, He's so deeply concerned, deeply involved, deeply compassionate, that He intervenes where we allow Him. Listen to how beautiful this is described in John 15. Jesus says, I am the vine and my Father is the gardener. He cuts off every branch in me that bears no fruit, while every branch that does bear fruit, He prunes so it will bear even more fruit. You are already clean because of the word I have spoken to you. Remain in me as I also remain in you. No branch can bear fruit by itself. It must remain in the vine. Neither can you bear fruit unless you remain in me. I am the vine and you are the branches. If you remain in me and I in you, you will bear much fruit. Apart from me, you can do nothing. You and I are deeply, deeply in need of the Father's hand and work in our lives. We can't do anything without being intimately connected to Jesus. And it's our loving, compassionate God, like a mother, like a father, like a parent in our lives, that don't just care deeply, but gets involved, making things grow and flourish by pruning sometimes, by tending to other things sometimes. And we have this beautiful song prepared for you this morning and today about God being this gardener, tending to this garden in our lives, pruning back what is dead and is not fitting in this garden, and tending to everything that He loves and to see grow and to see flourish. And as you listen to this today, why don't you contemplate a little bit this question: in what areas don't you trust God completely with this garden of your life? In what areas do you need Him to actually intervene, but you have not surrendered that part to Him yet? And maybe today, while you're listening to the song, take a moment and open up that space for a loving, compassionate God to enter into and tend to that part of your garden.
In the landscape of my life, you don't rush through any season. You always take your time. A careful hand, a gentle guide. You take what's dead away, and you prune what's running wild. So be the gardener of my heart, tend the soil of my soul, break up the fallow ground, cut back the overgrown, and I won't shy away. I will let the branches fall, so what you want can stay, and what you love can grow. Through the winter, I'm still alive. What you planted in the dirt is ever reaching to the light. You prepare me for darkened times. You'll sustain what you have started, and you'll teach me to abide. So be the gardener of my heart, tend the soil of my soul, break up the fallow ground, cut back the overgrown, and I won't shy away. I will let the branches fall, so what you love can stay, and what you love can grow. Starting to the ending, I'll remain in you, and you'll remain in me, and I will trust in your timing, 'cause you know better. So be the gardener of my heart, tend the soil of my soul, break up the fallow ground, cut back the overgrown, and I won't shy away. I will let the branches love can stay.
If you enjoy this content, please subscribe to our channel to receive more videos like this.